Okay guys, and welcome to the Eldar Sim Racing. This is the Assetto Corsa Competizione and we are here at Suzaka. I'm your host for this evening, Hoppers. It is a new game for me to commentate on, but it should be very exciting to see what goes on here. I do apologise, we did have a bit of problem getting the stream up and running, and I think we've just now sorted the issues out. So we'll go through the fields and we'll go through the battles. We are at the glorious Suzaka GP circuit for this evening, and it should potentially be a cracker of a race. As I say, I've never done this before, so it is a new sort of a new game for me to be dealing with, but we shall see what goes on. I believe we've got a bit of battles somewhere around the field. I think it's the back half of the field, yeah, between Love Frequency and Chris Richardson. But I think Love Frequency's a lap down. So we've got at the moment, if I can try and figure it out, yeah, so Love Frequency is 2 laps down at the moment. You got Chris Richardson and of course John Riley at the back of the field. But then you've also got, I think it's Craig Kerr and Diddy, so you know, we've just obviously missed half of the race due to technical difficulties. So as we go into turn number 1 here at Suzaka, it's looking likely that I'll have a look on the map to see if there's any close battles. We've got Ben Smith here in the Ferrari. He's been chased by Doug Idle in the beautiful yellow and red Mercedes, and then you've got Scott Fenton and Silver Carter battling it out for second and third at the moment as they go through the Dunlop hairpin. So this is going to be spectacular stuff between these two as we go in towards Spoon Curve here. So we will see what Silver Carter can do with Scott Fenton, whether he's going to chase down Scott Fenton, and we'll see if they make a move. Then you've got I believe you've got Terrence trying to chase down these guys as well in the McLaren, and then you got Ben Smith as well chasing, and of course Doug Idle chasing down none other than Ben Smith, as Ben Smith goes into 130R there. So it is going to be spectacular. We've got JWE being chased by Craig Kerr in the Mercedes AMG. So we shall see what goes on. I believe the 888 machine is trying to chase down JWE. So as I say, the series is new to me. I believe Doug Idle gets it crossed up into turn number 1 there, and we shall see what happens within this race. The race has already had, I believe it's already had 9 minutes of 9 minutes already. It's meant to be a 50-minute race, and Diddy is trying to chase down Craig Kerr, and you've got John Riley in the Ferrari, and of course Chris Richardson in the Jaguar, and then obviously in the Lexus you've got Love Frequency, Love Mecca. But we'll go back to this battle between Scott Fenton and Silver Carter at the moment. This is going to be spectacular as we see them heading up towards Spoon. This is quite a bit of a battle here. Scott Fenton runs a bit wide going out of Spoon here. The long right, the left hand bend, I believe it is. Silver Carter is now trying to latch onto the back of Scott Fenton in the Mercedes, but we shall see what Scott can do here. He runs a bit wide going out of 130R. Silver Carter tries to make the move going into the Casio triangle, and this is going to be fantastic stuff from these guys. And then you've got Terence behind, but then you've also got JWE and of course Craig Kerr having a bit of a battle. But this is going to be fantastic if we can see, but we'll try and go through and focus on the battles if we can. We've got John Riley just trying to get past low frequency, but then you've got Diddy, and of course he's trying to escape from I believe he's trying to escape from John Riley, but we'll try and go back to the battle between Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton as they go in towards the Degner 1 and then obviously Degner 2. So this is going to be fantastic stuff from these guys. You know, this, as I say, it is Dylan, the reigning champion, out in front in that beautiful green Porsche Carrera. I believe Terence is trying to gain up onto the back of Silver Carter as well as Scott Fenton, but at the moment this is the only sort of battle I can see going out on track at the moment. But you've got Scott Fenton, the Irishman, trying to hold off Silver Carter in that black and sort of silvery Mercedes AMG there. So we'll see what goes on. I believe John Riley in the Ferrari gets as Diddy goes off at the Dunlop hairpin, which is low frequency. He's gone off a bit, but we've got this battle between Diddy and John Riley for potentially 9th and 10th in the race, with quite some, you know, John in the Ferrari versus Diddy in the McLaren. So I will get everyone's names correctly as of next week, and it is spectacular to see these beautiful GT cars around Suzuka as we head down towards 130R. This is quite a fast corner, as we can see, as John tries to make the move on the inside, but Diddy closes the door going into the Casio triangle. This is going to be spectacular stuff going down into the first turn, and then obviously it will be potentially on latching onto the back, and if he gets the move made, you know, he's going to have to obviously catch up. But we shall see as they break for turn number 1. So it'll be the first curve heading into the snake curve. So Diddy runs a bit wide there, which is gifted John Riley. Actually, I think it's gifted him. Is it? I don't know if John's a lap down, but it's gifted. It's not updated, but I believe we'll see what happens. But we've got Silver Carter and Scott Fenton, I believe, still having this bit of a battle, but Scott Fenton runs a bit wide going out of spoon curve there as we go down towards 130R. Silver Carter has now got a bit of a gap from Scott Fenton, but Scott Fenton's trying to make that gap even bigger, as we'll see what happens. Scott Craig Kerr and of course John Riley. John Riley goes a bit wide. I don't know what happened there, but he's lost a bit of time now to Diddy there, but it's going to be probably a bit spectacular. I think John Riley's pulled off the circuit. He's gone into pit lane, which seems to be a bit unfortunate. So we've got this obviously battle between Scott Fenton and the Silver Carter here, so we'll see what happens with coming up to 35 minutes remaining on the clock. But this is going to be spectacular stuff for from these guys is going to be potentially chasing, you know, Silver Carter's going to obviously have to chase down Scott Fenton. Oh. But we shall see what is going on further back into but we'll see what happens. We've got obviously, as I say, John Riley's still in pit lane, so it's allowed Chris Richardson into 10th place. But at the moment, you've got this. I don't think there's really much of a battle because Ben Smith and Doug Idle Racing are still battling. So it looks like, as we see Doug Idle trying to chase down Ben Smith in the Ferrari. But then you've got Terence and of course Silver Carter. As we see Scott Fenton's trying to escape from the Silver Carter as we go into the Casio Triangle. At the moment there's not, I think this is the only battle we can focus on at the moment, but we'll see what's going on. It's Dylan in the Porsche, the reigning champion of the Assetto Corsa League at the moment, is leading into turn number 1 there. But we see Scott Fenton, of course, the Silver Carter, still trying to battle for second and third at the moment on the for the podium. But you know, Scott Fenton, he knows how to pedal these cars. He's quite quick to see. But the Silver Carter is also going to be there. I believe John Riley is still in pit lane, but you got Ben Smith trying to chase down Terence, but Doug Idle is going to also try and catch up to Ben Smith there. And then you got JWE also trying to chase down these guys. Then you got Craig Kerr in the AAA Vodafone Mercedes there. Then you got Diddy. I believe Low Frequency is just is 2 laps down, and then you got Chris Richardson in the Jaguar and then you know, and then obviously John Riley's in pit lane. But you see at the moment Silver Carter and Scott Fenton are still at it. They're still potentially driving the wheels off the Audi and of course Mercedes as we head in towards Spoon. At the moment this is the Spoon curve, so it's a long corner. It's 2 apexes that go out alongside out of Spoon curve there, along the support race paddock on the West circuit. So it's the West straight here going into 130 yard towards the Casio Triangle, and we'll see what is happening further down if we can. But at the moment Silver Carter is slowly but surely going to gain onto the back of Scott Fenton, and this is going to be fantastic stuff from these guys. Dylan's still out in front. He's going to be potentially trying to eke out that lead as Scott Fenton now tries to defend from Silver Carter going into turn number 1. But this is fantastic stuff. We'll see what's going on further back if we can. We'll see if Ben Smith, I believe Ben Smith and Doug Idle, Doug's got a bit of a gap though from up to Ben, but you know, we'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens with Scott Fenton and of course the Silver Carter going into up towards the Debners. This is going to be spectacular stuff. Well, I believe there's blue flags out, but we shall see Scott Fenton in the Audi R8 versus Silver Carter in the Mercedes AMG as we go through the second Debners up towards the Dunlop hairpin. This is going to be fantastic stuff. But Scott brakes. You know, he's got a bit of a gap from the Silver Carter, but I believe this is going to be close between these two as we go up towards Spoon Curve here at Suzaka. This is going to be spectacular stuff. This is going to be amazing, as we see Scott Fenton trying to build that gap so he doesn't get chased by the silver Carter. You know, I wonder what the fuel's going to be like. I wonder what tyres are like, which we shall see. This is going to be spectacular stuff. But you go 130R at the moment, with just under 30 minutes rather, sorry, 30 minutes to go in this race, the opening round of the Assetto Corsa Competizione, the Eldar Sim Racing, live on the Eldar Sim Racing YouTube channel. So if you like what you see here, guys, please like, comment and subscribe, and we will get you spectacular races. The silver car tries to make the move on the outside into turn number 1, but it isn't going to happen at the moment, but we shall see. The silver Carter now is trying to get up to the back of Scott Fenton at the moment, but Scott Fenton is trying to eke out that gap going into I believe he's going out into towards Snake, and then heading towards the Dentons there. We'll see what's going on further back if we can. We've got Ben Smith and of course Doug Idle trying to chase each other down as well. So you got the 28 machine versus the number 11 Ferrari as well. Then you got JWE. JWE's having a bit of a moment there, going out of turn number 1 in the McLaren. I don't know whether he's struggling a bit or what. Then you've got Craig Kerr in 8th place. Then you've got Diddy in 9th place, followed by Chris Richardson, and then obviously Love Frequency, and John Riley is about 3 laps down. But we'll concentrate on this battle between Silver Carter and Scott Fenton for a moment. But I believe at the moment Scott Fenton's now caught up to the back of Dylan in the Porsche, which is going to be interesting to see what happens with these guys. As Dylan goes into 130R, he makes a mistake going out of 130R, which has handed Scott Fenton the lead there, and Silver Carter he's into 2nd place. Dylan's made a absolute rookie error there. I don't know whether his tyres are worn or what, but he's made a bit of a mistake which has pushed him. Yeah, he's going to go into pits. So he's obviously decided, well, his tyres have gone off or his tyres have been worn, which has allowed Scott Fenton up into 1st place at the moment, the Irishman, in the beautiful Audi R8 there, the number 8 machine, which has allowed Terence up into 3rd place at the moment. And you know, this is going to be a fantastic battle between Silver Carter and Scott Fenton as well. But Ben Smith is trying to still eke out a gap from Doug Idle. He goes wide into turn number 1 there, which has allowed Doug Idle racing up into 4th place. This is spectacular stuff as Ben tries to chase him down, as we see here. But we'll see what. We'll go back to this battle in a minute, but Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton are still battling. But as you see, Doug Ardell and Ben Smith chasing each other, and I believe JWE, yes, JWE's in the pit lane, which will allow Diddy to climb up into potentially, believe it's 7th place, will it be? But as you can see, Ben Smith and Doug Idle racing, trying to get close, and Ben's trying to overtake him there. But you've got Silver Carter and obviously Scott Fenton heading into 130R at the moment. But this is going to be spectacular stuff, and you know, this is going to be a battle for potentially one of the amazing races we've ever seen here. But Silver Carter's gone into the pit, so that will allow Scott Fenton to have a bit of a lead there. I don't know whether Terence is going to go into the pits or not, but we shall see any moments. This is going to be spectacular. Yeah, Terence has dived into the pit lane, so that will give Doug Idle racing.
Halfway mark.
So we are halfway stage of the race. Doug Idle is going into pit lane, which is allowed Ben Smith. It will allow Ben Smith to come into second place, because you've got Silver Carter and you've got Terence and of course Doug Idle racing into the pit lane at the moment. Then you've got Craig Kerr just coming into Casio Triangle, depending on whether he stays out or he goes into pit lane. Yeah, he dives into the pit lane, so Diddy will come into 130R, but we'll see what goes on. These guys are going to be potentially pushing on, but whether Diddy comes out into 7th, we'll see what goes on, but I'll be back in 1 second. I do apologise about that, guys. Just needed to sit up to the gentleman's area. So, at the moment, Scott Fenton dives into pit lane, which allows Ben Smith into potentially the race lead, depending if Ben jumps into pit lane. But at the moment, Silver Carter, Terence, and of course, Dylan's up into 4th place. So, depending if Ben Smith jumps into pit lane, we'll see if it allows him to catch up as Ben goes into the Casio Triangle on screen. And then you've got Diddy just jumps out of pit lane. Then you've got Craig Kerr as Ben Smith. I believe Ben Smith's headed into pit lane, so that's going to gift potentially the 81 is Chris Richardson. That's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. We'll see who's out in the lead once it's sorted out the positions. So at the moment it will be the Silver Carter that will come across the line to start, and he will probably start going into 1st place, which I believe he does. But then I think Scott Fenton just comes out of pit lane there, which is allowed Silver Carter there to jump up into, I don't know, I think Scott Fenton is leading the race. I'm not too sure because it's not updated it, but I believe it's the Silver Carter out in front at the moment, followed by Scott Fenton, followed by Dylan. We'll have a look at the timing once it's properly updated. But I believe it is the Silver Carter out in the lead at the moment, followed by Terence. Yes, so it's Silver Carter, followed by Scott Fenton, followed by Dylan, and then followed by Terence, and then Ben Smith rejoins in 5th place. And then Doug Idle is in, I believe Doug's actually in front of Ben, so it'll be Doug in 5th place ahead of Ben Smith, then Craig Kerr, and then Diddy, and of course Chris Richardson, and of course JWE, and of course Low Frequency. John Riley is still in pit lane. So Silver Carter at the moment with 20 minutes 45 seconds on the clock to go here at Suzaka. This is the opening round of the Eldar Sim Racing League, the Assetto Corsa Competizione. It is the opening round here at Suzaka as Silver Carter is heading towards 130R. This is quite a fast corner on the track. It is quite scary if you go full pelt. You've got Scott Fenton, the Irishman, in the Audi R8 This is going to be fantastic between these guys. You've also got Dylan in the Porsche Carrera, in the 911, in the 20 machine. What a beautiful colour that is. And you got obviously got Terence in the McLaren, and Doug Idle in the Mercedes AMG, and of course Ben Smith in the Ferrari. But we'll go back to the battle if we can. Silver Carter goes into turn number 1, eking out that gap between, I believe he's eking out the gap between himself and Scott Fenton. We've got Diddy, and then they've got Chris Richardson. Oh, I didn't really want to. I don't think he really wanted to make a mistake. You've got Low Frequency, unfortunately he's 2 laps down, and then JWE and then John Riley is 8 laps down. But you've got this battle between the Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton, as Silver Carter here goes through the second deck, and then he heads up towards the Dunlop hairpin. It will be interesting to see what happens within the remainder of the race, with 19 minutes to go in the round number 1 of the Eldar Sim Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's going to be fantastic to see what these guys can do within the remainder of the race. It is spectacular, I must say. I have no idea, mate. I have no idea why there's a map in the middle. It's kind of frustrating, I must admit. But you've got Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton. But Silver Carter goes into 130R, and this is going to be spectacular stuff as he goes through the Casio Triangle. And you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's any other battles going on. I believe there's a battle between, I think JWE's a couple of laps down, so he's going to have to probably catch up. So we got Diddy in the McLaren, and then you've also got excuse me, and then you've got I believe Scott Fenton there is trying to still chase down the Silver Carter as he runs a bit wide into the S-bend there. But he's going out of the snake, heading towards the first Degners and then into the second Degners. But we shall see. Is he going to close the gap onto Silver Carter? We shall see. But yeah, it should be exciting to see what happens between these guys, as we are breaking towards the Dunlop hairpin, and we shall see what happens with Scott Fenton chasing down Silver Carter, and Dylan, the reigning champion, is still in 3rd place at the moment. I believe Terence, there's a slow car somewhere. I believe that might have been for Chris Richardson there, but I believe Dylan's trying to chase down. But you see, there's not really many battles at the moment because they're all a bit of a gap. But we shall see what happens with 16 minutes, 16 seconds remaining on the clock. And the track temperature is 36 degrees and the air temperature is 29. So the track is fast at the moment. The wind is blowing a 4-kilometre wind at the moment, so yeah, Scott Fenton may be able to catch up to the back of Silver Carter, but we shall see what goes on. I'm hoping there's further battles behind. Ben Smith is slowly trying to catch up back up to Doug Idle in the number 11 Ferrari. I believe there is a bit of battles galore. There will be hopefully battles galore, but Scott Fenton and of course Silver Carter are chasing each other, and they have been battling for some time now. So this is going to be interesting with Scott Fenton, the Irishman in the Audi R8, versus Silver Carter in the Mercedes AMG. This is going to be spectacular stuff. With, you know, this is absolute what I feel, and you know, I'm quite privileged. There was a blue flag situation. I believe we're about to lap one of the drivers, but they're a bit far behind. Scott Fenton brakes into Dunlop there. He's going to try and close the gap onto Silver Carter with 14 minutes 45 on the clock to go. This is going to be fantastic stuff from these guys. You know, is the Silver Carter going to crack under pressure, or is Scott Fenton going to chase him down? We shall see. As we've got Dylan still eking out that gap. I believe he's eking out that gap from, of course, Terence. Of course, Doug Idle is still trying to battle with what it is so hard to see what is going on at the moment. But you've got Craig Kerr just lapping JWE. But then also you've got Silver Carter and Scott Fenton just to go back to this battle as we go into the Casio Triangle with 14 minutes remaining. But it's going to be fantastic from these two guys. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do. I believe Dylan, who's still trying to chase down these guys in potentially second and first. You've still got Ben Smith now actually slowly but surely gaining onto the back of Doug Idle, and it should be really interesting to see what Ben does, whether he can catch up to Doug as we go into the Casio Triangle here. And we are going in, yeah, as Ben breaks into the Casio Triangle, still trying to push on to catch up to Doug Idle, but we shall see what is going on. But we've got 13 minutes to go until the checkered flag drops out for round number 1 of the Eldar Sim Racing, the ACC League, on a Sunday night, live on the Eldar Sim YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, guys, please like, comment and subscribe. It will help the group out massively. And there is a array of races going on over the next couple of weeks. But going back, Scott Fenton, as we head towards Spoon, is still trying to catch up to the Silver Carter. But I believe Chris is going to try and defend off from Scott Fenton at the moment. You've got Dylan in the Porsche, 11 seconds from, I believe he's 11 seconds from Scott Fenton, or is it the overall lead? I'm not too sure. I'll have to work out how this works. But then you've got Ben Smith. You've got Ben Smith now actually, as he goes through the second Deckner, trying to chase down Doug Idle for 5th place at the moment as we go into the Dunlop hairpin, and we head towards I forgot what this corner is actually called. I believe I'll try and figure it out, but we go towards Spoon. Doug Idle is trying to defend like mad from, of course, trying to fend off none other than Ben Smith in the Ferrari. So it's a Mercedes versus Ferrari battle for 5th place at the moment, but we shall see. But it's got this battle between obviously Doug Idle and of course Ben Smith. But Ben Smith runs a bit wide going out of 130R there, fastest corner on the circuit, and you know, Doug Idle there is closed the door. You've got Mercedes and Audi battle for 1st and 2nd, and you've got this Mercedes and Ferrari battle for 5th and 6th place. At the moment we'll go back to the battle between Scott Fenton and Silver Carter if we can, as we see here that Silver Carter has got his mirrors now technically nearly full of Scott Fenton's Audi R8, and it is going to be spectacular to see what, because the gap is coming down, and this is going to be spectacular. But you've got Silver Carter going into spin curve there, trying to fend off none other than Scott Fenton. But we'll go back to Doug Idle, and of course of course, Ben Smith. So we've got Mercedes versus Ferrari battle here. Ben Smith's brought the gap down a bit as we go into the first Deckner and then into the second Deckners there, as we'll concentrate on this battle for a moment or two. But I believe Silver Carter up the road has put a 1.2 second gap from Scott Fenton, so we'll see what happens. Ben Smith still trying to eke out that gap between him and Doug Idle for 5th, 6th and 5th. Doug runs a bit wide going out to Spoon there, but we'll see what happens as we head towards the 130R. I believe it is going to be interesting. But I believe Love Frequency is back in the pit lane there, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Doug Idle goes through 130R, and he's still got Ben Smith chasing him down into the Casio Triangle. And this is going to be spectacular stuff going into the first turn. We'll see what happens, and this is going to be spectacular. But I believe Scott Fenton has brought the gap down to, of course, as Chris Richardson moves out the way there for these guys. But you've got Ben Smith literally nearing the boots of Doug Idle's Mercedes there. This is actually going to be spectacular stuff. I cannot believe what I am seeing as Ben Smith tries to make a move into the snake, and you know, it is going to be kind of interesting. But Doug Idle's now got a bit of that gap. We'll go back to this battle between Silver Carter and Scott Fenton. Scott Fenton's now brought the gap down considerably amount as we head out of Spoon towards 130R. This is going to be fantastic stuff. Scott Fenton tries to make the move. Is he going to try and make the move into 130R, or is he going to think about it going into 130R? It's quite quick as we break for the Casio Triangle. Who's going to come out on top out of the Casio Triangle, as we've got 7 minutes 45 remaining, and we'll see what happens. I believe Ben Smith and of course Doug Idle are still battling for 5th and 6th at the moment. Ben Smith, we'll just go back to this battle quickly. Ben Smith's not far off, but we'll see what happens. Scott Fenton, of course, Silver Carter and Scott Fenton. Okay, I think there was a bit of contact there between Silver Carter and of course Scott Fenton. I think it just slightly tapped a bit of the back of him there. But you've got Ben Smith and of course Doug Idle, as Ben Smith tries to make the move into the Casio Triangle. But you know, that was a bit unfortunate for Silver Carter, but I believe Doug Idle and Ben Smith are still battling away for 5th and 6th place at the moment, but which is allowed now Dylan up into 2nd place with Silver Carter's off into the snake, and we shall see what happens. Scott Fenton is leading the race at the moment, but he's got a bit of a 9-second gap from Dylan at the moment. So we'll go back to this battle between Ben Smith and of course Doug Idle, and we'll see what happens between these guys for the remainder of the race, with coming up to 6 minutes left on the clock. So I believe Craig Kerr in 7th place, and we've got Chris Richardson in 9th, and then of course JWE in 10th place. But at the moment, the bit of a battle, I believe Ben Smith and of course Doug Idle going out of the Dunlop hairpin. These two are having a bit of a battle now. This is a fantastic battle. I cannot believe what I'm seeing here as we go up towards Spoon Curve for the 21st time. This is actually going to be really fantastic. I'm really enjoying this. This is actually a good battle between Doug Idle and of course Ben Smith. You know, it's going to be fantastic to see what happens as we exit Spoon down onto the West Straight with 5 minutes 4 on the clock. So there's roughly 5 minutes to go in this race here at Suzaka on the Eldar Sim YouTube channel. This is the Assetto Corsa Competizione as Ben Smith tries to make a move into the Casio triangle. Is he going to make it stick? No, because Doug Idle shuts the door. It says, come on Ben, you know, if you want to push me that hard, bring it on mate. But this is fantastic stuff between these guys. This is absolutely mega and absolute thrilling to see. You know, Ben Smith is probably thinking, what have I got to do to get past that yellow and red Mercedes AMG? But, you know, it's fantastic stuff. There's Silver Carter there, you know, he's trying to make up ground there, but he's obviously got Dylan in second place. And, of course, Scott Fenton. But we'll go back to this battle between Doug Idle. I believe Doug's had a bit of issues there going out with Snake, which has allowed Ben Smith to close up a bit. But here we go, going in towards the first Decners. You know, this is going to be spectacular stuff. We've got Ben Smith trying to chase down Doug Idle into the first Decner, and then into the second Decner. But this is going to be absolutely mega between these two. I can't believe what I'm going to see here with this. Is brilliant stuff, but you know, just under 3.5 minutes remaining of this race. This is going to be spectacular. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe what I'm seeing, but this is absolute fantastic racing from these guys. I believe, you know, this is going to be one of the closest battles we are going to see in the Eldar Sim Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione, as we see here Doug Idle and of course Ben Smith, Mercedes versus the Ferrari. And you've got this battle between obviously Silver Carter. Dylan gets a bit crossed up going out towards the Degners there, which is now going to allow Silver Carter, yes it does, it allows Silver Carter back up into second place. So that's a bit unfortunate for Dylan. He gets a bit crossed up going out of the turn towards the Degners there. So Silver Carter back up into second place, and I believe Dylan is going to be still catching up onto the back of Chris there. This is going to be fantastic stuff. I can't believe what I'm seeing, but it is going to be spectacular and interesting to see what is going on. Okay, Darren, whatever. You might buy a bunny for Christmas. Quite funny that, mate. I don't blame you. But going back to this battle between Dylan and Silver Carter, this could be playing into hands as we go into 130R, but you've got Diddy who's about to get a lap. This could actually technically eke out now a gap, but Ben Smith has now got past Doug Idle Racing. We're watching.
Leaders on final lap now.
So we're on to the final lap of the race, and this is going to be fantastic stuff. As I say, guys, I do apologise for any inconvenience with the start of the stream, but we see Doug Idle just got overtaken by Ben Smith as he runs a bit wide going into Spoon Curve there. But Ben Smith is now trying to latch onto the back of Terence in the McLaren. So I believe it is going to be spectacular stuff to see what happens. Whether Ben Smith can catch Terence, as he's looking a bit. Ben Smith's looking rather racy in that Ferrari as we go through the Casio triangle. We've got Dylan trying to chase down Silver Carter, which I think he's about to do. Scott Fenton is miles away up the road, 17.4 seconds up the road from Silver Carter. as Dylan is trying to chase him down in that beautiful Porsche. But we shall see what happens to Ben Smith. And of course Terence battling. Terence goes off wide there. He goes off at the first turn, which has allowed Ben Smith up into 4th place and Doug Idle up into 5th. But you've got Silver Carter and Dylan as we go up towards Spin Curve. This is going to be spectacular stuff between these guys. It is going to be one of them, but I believe Scott Fenton is going through 130R now. He will be, as Silver Carter and of course Dylan are battling towards 130R. And this is going to be spectacular stuff. But Scott Fenton comes through. Oh dear.